So basically, as a kid, I was a bit obsessed with Lego, and I used to like drawing pictures of what I was making, and that sort of led to drawing pictures of houses. So my dad suggested that architecture might be a way forward. And for a while, it was a choice between being an architect, or a chef, or an actor. And I decided that architecture was the way I wanted to go, because it was creative, but it also seemed quite secure as a job. And it was something I had a passion for. So yeah, that's how I decided. So obviously I went to university at 18 to study architecture, and I started working at practice about halfway through my degree. So from about 19 I was working there. I then ended up staying working at that practice throughout studying my part 2 and eventually my part 3. So yeah, it's been about 14, 15 years now. I joined GSS in May 2019. My background before coming here was in smaller practices, and what I wanted to do was find somewhere where my career could grow and I'd get experience working on larger projects. So I looked around at several practices, and coming into GSS it seemed like it was the right fit. Typically, I'll come in the morning and then I'll speak to my team about what we need to do in the day, have a look at our emails and see sort of what's cropped up. Usually there'll be a couple of meetings on projects talking about, what's needing to happen or what's going on site, or any problems there are which need resolving. And then it's a case of maybe doing a bit of drawing if I'm lucky, or making a few phone calls and making sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. There's a lot of satisfaction that I get in seeing something when it's finished. So if you've been there at the start and you've drawn it, and then you've worked on it throughout the process of it sort of being designed and then built, there's a lot of satisfaction from seeing it finished. Also, I've always enjoyed, getting to know people, and the particular job I do within construction means that I meet a lot of people, and I can work with people to help them to achieve something, which they may not have sort of thought possible beforehand. And there's also a lot of satisfaction in that. It depends really. I mean, my workload is very varied, so I think it would be difficult to sort of say one project which stands out, because I've been lucky to work on a lot of things. I've worked on some very big houses, which are always interesting, but then, in recent months working on community centres, that's been a new thing, because you get to work with people and understand how they're going to use it and help them to build something which is going to be for the use of everyone, which is something I've not done before and is also very satisfying. Okay, so firstly I'd probably recommend that they get some work experience. I did work experience when I was 16 at an architectural practice, and what that helped me to do was confirm that it was what I wanted to do with my career. Other than that, I'd probably recommend that people don't necessarily just see architecture as the only career in construction, because it's one of the most noticeable. It tends to be, a go-to. And I think, have a look at what you think your strengths are. Maybe that there's another career in construction which, you would get more satisfaction from. Whether it be that you're more technically minded, you could look at something like engineer, which still gives you that little bit of design, or something else. There are so many different sort of ways your career can go in construction.